All right, today's episode is going to be a little bit different. I normally focus on the conversion side of things, copywriting, but hey, I am also involved in media buying and paid advertising. And so this is one of those things where it's a lesson that I just got to share because it's just such a valuable nugget. It's about a YouTube ads audience that could be a hidden jackpot if you're not already using it. So let's dive into my notes here for the episode. First, I want to just really quickly cover profitable paid advertising 101. So if you want to be successful with any kind of paid advertising, whether it's YouTube or Facebook or other ad networks or print media or whatever, you really need to understand that it comes down to three essential things. One is traffic. That's the media buying. That's buying ads on YouTube, on Facebook, on whatever ad network, in whatever media, right? One is traffic. The second is conversions. You need to be able to convert that traffic into buyers, right? You need to be able to get those people once they have clicked through, once they visited your website, once they've engaged with your sales message, called up your salespeople. You need to turn them from prospects and leads into actual paying customers. And then the third is economics. You need to do this all in a way where there is profit built into the customer relationship, if not the first transaction or series of transactions. And so as you're developing any kind of paid advertising program, if you are not hitting all three of those, then you're likely to struggle. And it may not be, for example, YouTube's fault that you can't make YouTube advertising work. If, for example, the economics of your funnel don't support the kind of advertising that you're trying to do, well, that's going to be a problem, right? And in the context of the traffic itself, when you are buying traffic, what needs to happen really on the traffic front is you need to target the right audience and you need to get them to click. You need to target the right audience and you need to get them to click. And so the creative's job is to get them to click. Everything after that is up to the funnel, the website, the sales process, whatever it is, right? But the creative is to get them to click, and the actual media buying is designed to target the right audience. So for example, if you were selling some investment related offer, and let's go back to the print media days, right? If you were selling some investment related offer, you would know intuitively that Investors Business Daily or the Wall Street Journal or Fortune are going to have a more money-oriented readership base than, say, People Magazine, right? And so if you want to sell, it's important that you are targeting that right audience, right? Now, one of the cool things with online targeting and paid advertising online is that you can target people, right? And you can retarget people. And retargeting is once they have engaged in whatever measurable way you're allowed to access through the retargeting, the platform's retargeting capabilities, you are able to continue to put ads in front of those same people. And so, for example, if you see me all over the internet, it's not necessarily because I'm advertising to be on every website on the internet. It's probably because you've engaged with my content before. And so I'm showing up through retargeting, not through just broad audience targeting on some random news website, right? So all of that is the foundation. I want to talk about this YouTube ads audience that could be a hidden jackpot. Now, some people have called it VANC, VANC. This is viewed ad, no click. Viewed ad, no click. So if you're running YouTube ads, for example, there are people who just click away within those, as soon as YouTube lets you click away, they click away, right? They click skip ad and they're done, right? There are people who watch through enough of the ad that they get to the point where you have the call to action in the ad and they click it and they go through to the site. There are also people in between. They reach the threshold of viewing the YouTube ad where YouTube counts it as an ad view. And that's different than an impression. An impression is the number of times the ad started playing. A view is 30 seconds, that they've watched it through to 30 seconds, right? And so you pass that view threshold. So obviously they were engaged, assuming it wasn't just playing in the background while they, were doing something else. But on average, those people are going to be engaged on some level. And when they are engaged with your message, that indicates something about them. Probably they have at least some level of interest in the subject matter that you're talking about in that ad, right? But they did not click. For whatever reason, they did not click. Well, that's a pretty warm audience, or at least it's a filtered audience based on interest, right? And so this viewed ad, no click audience is something that you can set up inside YouTube ads. I'm not going to go into the details of how to set it up here, but you can set this up. And the more impressions and views that you get on the initial ad, the bigger this audience is going to become. And this audience is going to be, it's going to offer you lots of opportunities for future advertising impressions, that retargeting, right? And it's going to be very targeted. And these people are going to be much more likely to, that's going to be one of those campaigns that you set up that's going to have much higher ROI than just the completely cold audience campaign, because we've already filtered for these people being good targets for the ads. But it is going to be fed by the lower ROI, colder audience campaigns. And by the way, if you're not running YouTube ads yet, one of the things that you can do is you can just target based on your organic YouTube audience. So if you have a decent YouTube audience, and I have a decent YouTube audience, you can, and it's relevant to your offer, you can target those people. You can target those viewers in a similar way. It's not quite the same, right? It's not quite as focused, but you can target people based on their engagement with your other YouTube content. The other thing that you can do is, if you're not running YouTube ads yet, and you are really planning to make sure that you have as solid of a foundation as possible as you build out your campaigns, is you can create a viewed ad, no click campaign and build a good campaign from the start. So you're going to have some cold audience campaigns, but also you're going to build a viewed ad, no click campaign, so that as you get impressions and views on your cold audience campaign, it's going to start to feed the audience that it needs to start showing those viewed ads, no click. And that's going to allow you to scale more profitably and faster. And that's part of the economics of paid traffic, right? If you're able to send better targeted audiences into the system, and it's a high quality audience, and you're sending those people into the system at a reasonable price, well, then your economics of your campaign is going to be are going to be better. Okay, so I've called out 3 specific jackpots here if you are building this. So jackpot number 1 is really just retargeting, right? So, and this is what I've been talking about essentially this whole time. You get somebody who was engaged with whatever hook you had on your initial ad, and they said, ooh, this is interesting enough that they didn't just click through to keep watching whatever YouTube video they were trying to watch in the first place. They got through and stayed engaged with your ad long enough to say, oh, okay. And then they skipped ad and they went to their video, right? They didn't click. Well, if they were engaged in the first place, they're probably a pretty good audience. And so, in that regard, it's a jackpot when you're able to continue to put offers in front of that person. Jackpot number 2, this is where this gets kind of cool and exciting, because jackpot number 2 is campaigns like this are fertile testing ground for new creative. And it's not necessarily going to be 100% correlation between this audience and what's going to work to a completely cold audience. But this audience doesn't really know you that well. They may have seen you before, in the ad. But this audience is going to be a great place to test new YouTube creative to see what works and what doesn't, and what's maybe worth testing more. And so it gives you a primed audience. It gives you an even more targeted audience where your initial tests are going to be more likely to be profitable, and where you're able to show to those same people ads in different, basically you're able to test new creative to them, right? That should make sense to you. If, by the way, most YouTube campaigns that are going to scale really well, that are going to feed the algorithm in the way that it needs, you really need to have one ad creative inside one campaign. And so you have campaign, ad group, ad, and is all one, right? With one targeting. And that's what YouTube is going to be able to scale most easily in terms of ads. So it's hard to test a lot of creative in that type of environment. But if you have this retargeting audience and you're going to be able to show them these things over and over, and you're going to be able to run these different ads by them, again, that's what makes it such a fertile testing environment. Now, jackpot number 3 here is that you don't just have to use this audience for video ads. You can, in fact, use any kind of YouTube audience for display ads. And I find that I'm able to get really cheap clicks, and I'm able to get really good clicks from people who have engaged on YouTube in some way with a visual ad, right? And so you're not limited on YouTube to retargeting with video ads. You can retarget with display ads, with visual ads. All that you have to do is you have to write it like a typical Google Display Network ad, with the visual requirements and all of that. And hey, it puts you in front of those same people in yet another way to get them to engage. All right, so my call to action for you at the end of this episode. Hopefully you have started to think about ways that you can use this, whether you're currently advertising on YouTube or not, whether this is for yourself or for clients. So ask yourself how you can use this. Don't forget to like and subscribe so you get more content like this delivered to you. And if you are interested in working with me to develop a complete marketing plan that includes traffic conversion and economics, and really making sure that you're firing on all cylinders and building out a scalable marketing department, especially if you are already in the 7-figure, maybe up into the 8-figure range, and you're just looking for that next strategy that's going to take you to the next level. I do offer fractional CMO and copy chief services, and it's certainly relevant for you if this kind of training is the kind of thing that you're interested in. I offer a free intro call just to see if we're a fit. I'm Roy Furr, this Breakthrough Marketing Secrets out. And you can check that link in the description. Yeah, and I'll catch you again in the next episode. See you soon. Bye. Thank you once again for tuning in to this daily episode of Breakthrough Marketing Secrets. Remember, check out the links with this episode for even more value. Now make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, and engage in every way you can to keep this show going and growing and delivering daily value to you. I'll catch you soon for your next big breakthrough.